May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. It was close to midnight when I reached the convent. A fine drizzle fell from an ominous grey sky. I paid off the taxi and dragged my suitcase to the front door. I knocked politely at first, then banged on the door. "Open the door, please," I cried. "I need to speak to Mother Gabriel, now." The porthole opened. Sister Mary's broad face peered out. "Please go away," she said, as if shooing off a beggar. "Mother Gabriel is not coming. You're dismissed. Mr. Gerhardt said—" The porthole slammed shut. There was a sudden flash of lightning, followed by rumbling thunder. Heavy rain came down in sheets. I turned around. The taxi had not moved. I waved frantically with both hands and ran toward it. The driver loaded my luggage back into the trunk, and I directed him to Home Depot. I love that. Home Depot. There was little visibility, but I found the shop as if by instinct alone. The lights were on. I asked the driver to wait. He agreed, but insisted on being paid. I threw some notes at him, got out, leaped over a drainage channel, and sprinted to the door. Before I could press the antiquated bell, the door sprang open, and there was Miss Nandi, my Sanskrit teacher. Get in, she shouted. "Look at you. You are completely drenched. How long?" "I have been waiting." "I'm on my way to a hotel," I said, trying hard to mask the sheer panic that was welling up. "I've got a taxi waiting. I wanted to check if you were all right. I'll see you tomorrow." "Nonsense," she said. "You stay here. Room is ready. Go. Get your things." "Oh, thank you," I said, and ran out to the road. No taxi. The man had driven away with my suitcase, my backpack, and my handbag that contained my wallet, my credit cards, and my passport. I took a step back and collapsed into the drainage channel of rushing muddy water brimming with sewage. I clawed out of the slush and squatted at the edge. I held my head in my hands as the rain beat down on me. "What are you doing? Get up at once," Miss Nandi stood over me with a huge open black umbrella. "Get up." "I can't," I said. "I give up. They've won. Let me be." She came around and strained to drag me up by clutching onto my arm. When we both began to slip headlong into the sewage-filled channel, I forced myself up and followed her meekly into the shop. "In the bathroom, boiling hot water is there," she said. "Scrub everywhere with this cloth and soap. Ditch full of bacteria. Clean clothes I have kept. Bedroom there." The quote-unquote bedroom to which I was directed was a clearer corner of the storeroom, a cubicle with a curtain drawn to one side. On the floor was a lumpy mattress, on which a pair of cotton pajamas and kurta that looked suspiciously like the ones at Maharaja's spa in the foothills lay folded. Dingy and used, but clean. A low metal stool and lamp with a bare bulb took up one side. In the bathroom was a bucket of steaming water. I washed and changed. I was fed rice gruel and mango pickle. I went to my cubicle and drew the curtain closed. My suitcase, backpack, and handbag did not surface. Miss Nandi made inquiries at the market and filed a report with the police. The convent where I could have accessed personal records was closed to me. Mother Gabriel would not risk jeopardizing Gerhardt's money by helping me. I thought to send letters, emails, missives to friends and colleagues. I needed their address, however. Miss Nandi did not have a computer or phone. Pen and paper and her memory was what she relied on, she said. And there was no public library. There were no services of any kind, and I had no money and no documents. I hesitated to ask Miss Nandi for a loan, and she did not offer. She was doing enough for me. A stranger, and not family. I don't exist, I said to Miss Nandi one day. I have vanished. No one will miss me. It's better this way. What are you saying, Ma? You just keep quiet, she scolded. With you always some drama. But I made myself useful. For room and board I cleaned, cooked, shopped, and manned the store. When Miss Nandi was up, I made her tea, and for our breakfast I served a rice soup, kanji, and a vegetable. I dusted her surprisingly lavish bedroom with its Victorian four-poster mattresses piled high, soft linens and mosquito netting. I scrubbed the bathroom that she reluctantly shared with me, and then I opened Home Depot, where I remained in the background when customers wandered in. A shadowy figure in white. Several times a week, I shopped at the market, where I was met with taunts from Dickensian urchins who threw stones at me when I had no change to give them. The shopkeepers eyed me with distrust until Miss Nandi, who accompanied me on a few occasions, informed them that I was her servant doing her bidding. Soon all became bored by my poverty, the shameful anomaly of a foreigner without money. In time, I became a part of the throng, to be treated with the contempt reserved for any low-caste person, aside from the occasional high-caste person who would quickly cross the road or step aside when I approached. I was ignored. This invisibility was a blessing, since I could make my purchases quickly without the expected chit-chat and return to the shop where, when my chores were done, I read late into the night in my cubicle with the curtain drawn. I devoured novels, plays, poetry, the classics, pot boilers, from Shakespeare to Homer to George Eliot to Joyce Carol Oates to Daniel Steele. When I was washing the bathroom floor or cutting vegetables or out on the street, words and phrases swam in my head, making me dimly aware of worlds that I'd once inhabited, where everything mattered, where quarrels and emotions and ideas were taken seriously, where what one wore and ate had a gravity that I found difficult to grasp. I did not meditate. I could not meditate. I had forgotten how to meditate. I saw no reason to meditate. Once, while we were having our morning chai, Miss Nandi reminisced on that far-off time when I would arrive so eagerly for my Sanskrit lesson. You would come always 5 minutes early, she said. So nicely dressed, so smart, so competitive, as if going for a big exam. How well you memorized. Now look at your state. She eyed me with the cruelty of an old woman. Looks have gone, no family, no job, no husband, no children. You have become nothing but a hanger-on. For a moment, I fully understood Raskolnikov's murder of the old woman. I knew that this old woman hid wads of cash in a trunk under her bed. I could rob her and run away, but I would not get very far. But that night, I randomly picked up one of the Upanishads, a 19th century prose translation for Western readers. It read, "That light which shines above This heaven, higher than all, higher than everything in the highest world, beyond which there are no other worlds, that is the same light that is within the humanity. It was inscribed on the frontispiece like a Dante-esque illustration of the entrance to heaven. My curtain was suddenly flung open. Miss Nandi glowered down at me. "Why are you wasting current?" She snatched the book out of my hand and glanced at the title. "What is the use of all this reading without Guru?" she demanded. I gently but firmly drew my curtain closed, switched off the lamp, lay down, and turned my face to the wall. Hello, dear Leia. "Let us read a text," she said a few days later. "This way we can pass the time." I made no objection. On what basis could I object anyway? I was at her mercy. She could at any time throw me out on the street. Where would I go? From the bookcase in her bedroom that contained her favorites, she brought forth a thin paperback. We sat cross-legged on the floor, which I could now manage with minimal pain, and she began with the usual invocation that seals the mode of behavior between teacher and student. "Remember, I am not Guru," she said. "We are two students only. Lord Shiva, Lord of the cosmos, the world's eternal teacher, is our Guru. We can think that way." Whatever. She threw me a sharp sideways glance as if I had spoken aloud, and I quickly assumed a blank detached stare. Then, in a low, tremulous tone, she recited the prayer attached to this particular text, the Mundaka Upanishad. "May we hear what is auspicious, see what is holy. May we pray with steady limbs. May we enjoy a life that is beneficial to the gods. May the gods be beneficial to us. May the Guru of the gods ensure our welfare." "We will take a fast track," she said. "I will provide a summary and key verses from a chosen Upanishad. Of course, for some Upanishads, like Isha Upanishad," she laughed suddenly, "all verses are key verses. We begin with the Mundaka Upanishad, and the question that the student asks is, what is that by knowing which all is known? What is that by knowing which all is known?" A sudden flash of Siddh, the snake at his feet, the pyrotechnics on that mountain came before me. A spasm on one side gripped me, and I crawled to a chair and raised myself up. Miss Nandi watched this maneuver without comment. The pain subsided. "The Guru tells the student that knowledge is twofold, lower and higher," she said. "Lower knowledge is information, science, history, mathematics, and so on. Higher knowledge is self-knowledge, self-recognition. Higher knowledge leads to self-realization. The eyes cannot see it, the ears cannot hear it, the mind cannot grasp it," she began to quote. She chanted, explained, and analyzed, and I listened with a kind of wonder at her clarity and precision. She, whom I had only seen as a crotchety old woman, had transformed into a teacher. More than a teacher, a Guru, my Guru. I lowered myself to the floor and sat near her. "As the web issues out of the spider. The universe springs from the eternal self, the source of life. We could keep reading, but why don't we pause there for now? Thank you for listening. So, it seems like there have been some more misfortunes in our dear protagonist's journey. She was not able to reach home, and with her bank account drained, she tried to return to the convent. Unsuccessful, she tried to go to the hotel, but while she stopped by Miss Nandi's store, Home Depot, her taxi drove away with all of her belongings, passport, wallet. So she stayed at the bookstore, and after a while, she begins her study again of the ancient scriptures that reveal the secrets of her immortality, bringing her into knowledge of her true self. I look forward to continuing reading this with you next time.